Thank you for downloading our training gap analysis. I just thought I would give you a quick video to take you through some of the highlights of how to complete the gap analysis. Obviously we have the introduction section at the start and how to complete this document, which gives you the guidance on it. But what we have at the beginning of the main document itself, once those summary sections are out of the way, is the executive summary. So once you've completed the rest of the document, this is the final part you'll come back to and pull out the key issues, gaps, in other words, and add them to your executive summary. And at that point, feel free to send it on to us. We can discuss those gaps with you, suggest some solutions, whether that's with us, with our e-learning training platform, with our face-to-face training, or with other providers or other methods as well. Um, we're not too precious on that, but we'll always give you the best advice. But we'll come down to the main part of the gap analysis. And essentially, we've set out the main compliance topics that you should cover in an FCA regulated firm, right from an introduction to the FCA. So, who are they? What are their powers? How do they supervise the industry? Just give that background essentially. Before we then cover the highlights of the key topics within FCA compliance, the Consumer Duty, TCF, if it applies. If not, you can skip past that part. But if you're still within the scope of TCF, then you would complete 1.3, vulnerable customers, financial difficulties, and complaints handling. They're fairly generic to most organizations, so we've put those under the umbrella of FCA compliance. You also have the requirement to complete SMNCR training in respect of the conduct rules. Obviously, that's going to be different for senior managers and non-senior managers. So in that 2.2 section, the non-senior managers, you would expect your certification staff and your non-certification staff to be in there. It's only ancillary staff that would be outside the scope of the SMNCR training. So we cover that. Before we have the kind of data protection elements, whether that's information security or UK GDPR, financial crime, and then professional conduct in terms of whistleblowing. So these are the kind of generic compliance topics you would expect to be covered within a firm's training plan. Now, of course, you will have sector-specific training as well. For example, insurance firms will have training that you need to cover in terms of CPD, equally as will other types of firms like credit lenders. But we've pulled out the main ones for this document. Then when you come into the document itself, what we have is we have the required content, and this is really the most useful information. So you run down the required content and identify whether it's in your training currently, and if not, you set the action, and then that will get pulled into your executive summary. So you essentially work your way down this document. What we've said is with the introduction to FCA, you only need induction training on that. That gives background. But with the rest of the topics, like the consumer duty, you can identify whether it's covered in your induction training and your refresher training as well. So very detailed document running to 21 pages, which sets out the content that should be included in your training. As I say, if you have any questions as you go through this document, feel free to reach out to me, and we're happy to discuss, to support, or ultimately help you mitigate any gaps that you might identify. Good luck.